can move it, yeah.
Apparently I can't.
Yeah, there you go.
I want to tell you a story of an unloved little girl,
Okay.
a 1-year-old toddler named Sybil. Sybil's mother, Katrina, thought her child was too much responsibility, but the truth was the child conjured up too many memories of her father. Sybil's father died on the exact same day she was born. He was speeding on his way to the hospital to witness the birth of his first child. The loss was too much for his young wife, Katrina, to bear. She wanted a do-over. Katrina wanted a second chance. She wanted a happy ending or a new beginning with a new family, which did not include Sybil. She wanted to get rid of her child. The problem was, Katrina got most of her legal advice by watching television movies. And what she knew was habeas corpus, which means if the authorities did not find a body, she would not be charged with a crime. Katrina heard of a bottomless pit in Washington State. She drove there and got a hotel room. That night in her hotel room, she drank whiskey straight from the bottle. And then she took her daughter out to the pit, tied packing string around the child's waist and attempted to lower her into the hole. The rope broke and Sybil plunged into the abyss. Immediately, Katrina grasped the gravity of her mistake. Instantly, regret pervaded every depth of her being. As her daughter fell through the opaque void of the chasm, she fell next to the hole in the ground, curling herself up in the fetal position. She was attempting to cover the hole she had just made in her heart. We don't know what thoughts ran through the mind of the toddler as she plummeted into obscurity. But I would imagine that just as her mother did, she yearned for a second chance, a do-over. It's hard to remain rational after losing someone so close. No one would agree with this statement more than a man named Devon Youngster. He was a mountain climber. He was also an only child raised by a single parent, a working mother whom he loved very much. His problem was he spent more time climbing Mount Everest, Kilimanjaro, and Kanchenjunga than he did with his own mother, because the mountains were more exciting than his mother. Vaughn celebrated his greatest victory. He had reached the summit of Everest. Unknown to him, his grand achievement fell upon the same day as his mother's death. When Vaughn learned his mother had left this world, he wanted to go with her. He decided to end his life poetically by climbing. So he went and found the deepest, darkest crevice he could find in the ground. And then he climbed down into it. He climbed down until he sweat. He climbed down until his legs and arms ached, until his lungs wheezed, until his hands cramped and his fingers bled. When he came to a ledge where there was just enough room for him to kneel, he thought of his mother as tears filled the wells of his eyes. He decided to throw himself from the ledge to his demise. He reached towards the heavens to ask forgiveness when a baby fell into his arms. A toddler named Sybil. And then Vaughn knew what he had to do. He had to climb out of that hole. There's a message in the story. What I'm trying to say is, there may come a time in our lives when we find ourselves in the grandest canyon of despair. I want you to know, your happy ending, your new beginning, or your do-over will start when you climb out of that hole. Vaughn climbed out. He reunited Sybil with her mother, and the three of them lived happily ever after. Katrina learned we don't have to erase our past to be happy. Her daughter, Sybil, was granted a do-over, a second chance. And Vaughn discovered a new beginning with a new family. This was all Katrina wanted from the start. A happy ending.